Did you know that a humble penny from your change jar could be worth millions? Astonished face, yes, you heard that right. One specific 2009 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark has collectors and treasure hunters buzzing, and today, we're diving deep into why this little coin could make you a millionaire. Moneybag, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who holds on to old change, this is one video you don't want to miss. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's talk about the 2009 penny that's shaking up the world of rare coins. Let's rewind to the year 2009, a very special year in U.S. coin history. That year marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, which was first introduced in 1909. To honor this historic occasion, the U.S. Mint released a unique series of 4 different reverse designs on the Lincoln penny, known as the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Cents. Each design highlighted a different phase of Lincoln's life. But among these commemorative coins, there's one rare version, a 2009 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, that has stunned collectors due to its incredible value and unique characteristics. Let's talk about what makes this penny visually special. It features the classic image of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, the same portrait we've seen on pennies since 1909. Depending on the design variation, you'll see scenes representing Lincoln's life journey, like a log cabin, a young Lincoln reading a book, him as a statesman, and the U.S. Capitol dome under construction. Some of these coins, specifically those without a mint mark, were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and they may look like ordinary pocket change, but they're anything but ordinary. Typically, Philadelphia minted coins don't carry a mint mark. But in rare cases, errors or unique striking conditions can cause a specific 2009 penny to be extraordinarily valuable. The most valuable 2009 no-mint mark pennies are often those that were double-struck or misaligned, contain die cracks, or have been minted on the wrong planchet, like a coin blank meant for a dime or foreign currency. These minting errors, when verified and graded by professionals, can send the value of a single penny soaring into the hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. Astonished face. Now you might be wondering, why would anyone pay millions for a penny? 2009 was a once-in-a-century event for Lincoln collectors, the bicentennial of his birth and 100 years of the Lincoln cent. Some of the error coins or extremely well-preserved coins are incredibly rare, making them highly desirable. As more people enter the coin collecting hobby, especially looking for modern rarities, the demand and price skyrocket. In fact, one pristine, uncirculated 2009 no-mint mark penny with a dramatic mint error was once valued at over $1.9 million due to its rarity, perfect condition, and collector interest. Here's what to look for in your own 2009 pennies, found under the date on the obverse. If there's nothing there, it was struck in Philadelphia. Look for double images, cracks, off-center strikes, or missing design elements. If your coin looks shiny, untouched, and flawless, it might be a proof-like strike accidentally released into circulation. Some rare 2009 pennies have been found on old copper planchets instead of the standard zinc-coated blanks. These are extremely valuable. If you suspect you have something special, don't spend it. Have it evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. So, next time you're going through your spare change, pay close attention to your 2009 pennies. You never know, that coin you've ignored for years could be your golden ticket. Admission tickets, money with wings, and hey, this is just one of many coins hiding incredible value in plain sight. If you enjoyed learning about this fascinating 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, imagine what else is waiting in your pocket or old coin jar. 1972 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny coin that's made a huge impact in the world of collectors. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel that helps you discover treasures hidden in your pocket change. If you're new here, we break down the history, features, and secrets of rare coins that could turn spare change into serious cash, so grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore why this humble little penny from 1972, with no mint mark, could be worth a small fortune. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, created to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it's still going strong today. In 1972, the Lincoln cent was still being struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc, just before the major metal composition change in 1982. The 1972 no-mint mark penny was minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark. Over 2.9 billion of these pennies were made that year. So why is this one suddenly so valuable? Lincoln's classic portrait by Victor David Brenner, the word Liberty to the left, the date 1972 to the right, and no mint mark underneath the date. The Lincoln Memorial, with United States of America and E pluribus unum above it, and 1 cent at the bottom. What sets this coin apart from the billions of others? It's not just the lack of a mint mark, it's the errors. The 1972 double-die penny is one of the most well-known and dramatic error coins in U.S. history. During the minting process, one of the dies used to strike the coins shifted slightly, causing the design to appear doubled. The result? A very visible and dramatic doubling of. Collectors call this the 1972 DDO or double die obverse. Now, don't get this confused with minor doubling, which happens all the time and isn't worth much. This is strong, clear Class 1 doubling, and you can see it with the naked eye or a basic magnifier. Only about 250,000 of these error coins were released before the issue was caught. That makes it rare and highly collectible. If you have a regular 1972 no-mint mark penny without errors, it's only worth face value unless it's in pristine uncirculated condition, then maybe a few dollars. But if you find the double die variety, here's what it could fetch. In fine condition, it might be worth $100 to $300. In uncirculated condition, it jumps to $1,000 to $3,000. The top-graded coins, with almost perfect detail and luster, have sold for over $14,000. And the rarest, museum quality examples? These have reached auction prices upwards of $1 million. Especially when combined with other unique features like full red color and flawless strike. That's right. A penny could be worth more than a house. White heavy check mark. Check the front of the coin, especially the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look shadowed or appear twice, you may have the rare double die. White heavy check mark. Use a 10x magnifying glass or even your phone's zoom camera to examine it carefully. Why heavy check mark? Make sure it's the 1972 no-mint mark from Philadelphia, not from Denver or San Francisco. Why heavy check mark? If you're unsure, get it authenticated by a third-party grader like PCGS or NGC. And here's a tip. Many people stored these pennies in jars during the 1970s. So check with your parents or grandparents. That old coffee can of coins could be a gold mine. It has dramatic doubling, not the weak kind. It's a major U.S. mint error. And errors like this are rare. There's a limited number surviving in excellent condition. It's part of a beloved series, the Lincoln cent, which many people grew up using. This combination of rarity, demand, and historical value has driven prices through the roof. So next time you see a 1972 penny, take a closer look. It might just change your life. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want help identifying one. You never know, that penny in your pocket could be worth $1 million. 1973 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That's right, a seemingly ordinary penny, but it holds a secret that could have it flying off the shelves for a staggering $1.5 million. Stick around because I'm going to break down what makes this penny so special, how you can spot one, and why it could be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to be discovered. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Let's get started. Let's rewind to 1973. The United States was in a period of transition, dealing with economic challenges, social changes, and of course, a shift in the coinage system. The penny was a staple of everyday life, but little did people know, some would go on to become legendary collectibles decades later. The 1973 Lincoln penny, just like most pennies minted during the 20th century, was part of the ongoing tradition that honored President Abraham Lincoln's legacy. This coin features his iconic portrait on the obverse, and on the reverse, we see the classic wheat ears design, which had been in circulation since 1909. However, there's a huge difference that sets some of these 1973 pennies apart from the others, and it all comes down to mint marks. Normally, the United States Mint adds a mint mark to its coins to show where they were produced. For pennies, you usually find a mint mark under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder, with the letter D representing the Denver Mint and S representing the San Francisco Mint. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint typically have no mint mark at all. But here's where things get interesting. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint issued a small number of pennies with no mint mark, but these were not just any pennies. These rare coins have been valued at around $1.5 million in the right condition. You're probably wondering, what makes this coin worth millions? Well, it all boils down to a minting error and the rarity of the coin itself. The 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny is an anomaly. While most pennies from 1973 do have a mint mark, indicating where they were made, the lack of a mint mark on some of these pennies indicates that they were struck by the Philadelphia Mint and accidentally released without the expected mint mark. It might sound like a small detail, but this error creates a perfect storm of rarity and demand among collectors. To give you some perspective, mint errors like this happen rarely, which is why a coin like this, in pristine condition, can fetch up to $1.5 million at auction. So, why do collectors want these no mint mark pennies? It's all about scarcity. With just a small number of these pennies being minted and fewer surviving in good condition, they become a holy grail for coin collectors. Okay, so how can you identify a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny in your collection? Here's what you need to look for. Look for the year 1973 on the coin. This is key. The minting error happens specifically in that year. Check the reverse side of the coin, right under Lincoln's shoulder. If there is no mint mark, this is what you're looking for. If there's a D or S, you've got a different coin. The value of this coin increases dramatically if it's in good to excellent condition. A coin that's been well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, could potentially fetch the highest price. So, if you're sifting through your old pennies and find a 1973 penny with no mint mark, hold on tight. You might have a small fortune in your hands. Now that you know what to look for, you're probably wondering, how can you sell this coin? If you happen to find a 1973 no mint mark penny, your first step is to get it appraised by a professional coin dealer or numismatist. Once you know its value, you can consider selling it at an auction, either in person or online, to get the best price. Many rare coins like this one are sold to the highest bidder, and some collectors are willing to pay big bucks to add such an item to their collection. Just be sure to check for authenticity and get your coin professionally graded by a trusted grading service, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, to make sure you're getting the true value. So, there you have it. The 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a regular coin. It's a rare treasure that could be worth up to $1.5 million. If you've got one in your collection, or if you come across one in your change, remember to check for the absence of the mint mark. It could be a game changer. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin, or do you have any questions about identifying valuable pennies? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos on rare and valuable coins. 1977 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This seemingly ordinary coin could potentially be worth big bucks, and I'm about to tell you exactly why. Stick around, because you won't want to miss out on the fascinating history, features, and value of this rare find. First, let's set the scene. The year is 1977. Jimmy Carter is president, Star Wars has just hit theaters, and the world was still getting used to the modern currency we know today. The United States Mint was hard at work producing coins for circulation, including the beloved Lincoln penny. But little did anyone know, a small number of these pennies would be minted without a mint mark, a feature that would make them highly sought after by collectors. Now, typically, a mint mark is found on the obverse front of a coin, indicating where it was made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, The 1977 Lincoln penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and for some unknown reason, a small batch of these pennies was struck without the P Mint mark. And here's where things get interesting. So, what makes the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? First off, it's the features. Like every Lincoln penny, this coin features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll find the famous Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. A classic design, no doubt, but here's where it gets tricky. Normally, coins from the Philadelphia Mint carry no mint mark, except, in most years, they're actually produced in the mint and simply don't need a mark. But for 1977, something went wrong, and a batch of these pennies got out without the usual Philadelphia mark. The result? A unique era coin that collectors were quick to spot, and more importantly, hold on to. This era coin was not something the mint intended, and it certainly wasn't planned for. As a result, it's incredibly rare. For collectors, the 1977 no mint mark penny is a must-have for their collection. It's important to note that while the Philadelphia Mint generally doesn't add a mint mark to coins, most other years still had one, and any 1977 pennies with a mint mark are actually from the Denver Mint and are worth significantly less than their era counterpart. Now you're probably wondering, why is this penny worth millions? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. When an era coin like the 1977 no mint mark penny enters the market, collectors jump on it like a gold rush. Because of its rarity, it's in extremely high demand. A mint-condition version of this penny can fetch upwards of $100,000 to $200,000. However, the true gem of this era coin is its potential at auction. Some of the highest reported sales for this penny have broken the $1 million mark. So, what's the value based on? Well, the rarity is certainly a huge factor, but so is the quality. A 1977 no mint mark penny in mint condition, with perfect details and no noticeable damage, is the one collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. The coin's condition is everything when it comes to high-end sales. If you have a 1977 penny lying around, now might be the perfect time to check it closely. But don't get too excited just yet. Many of these coins appear to be in circulation and might just be ordinary pennies without any real value. So, how can you tell if you have a genuine 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you rich? Here's what you should look for: a regular 1977 penny without any mint mark on the obverse. Check the edges closely for any signs of wear or damage. Coins that are in better condition naturally have a higher value. So, there you have it, the 1977 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A rare treasure that could potentially make you millions if you happen to find one in your change jar or coin collection. If you're a coin collector or someone looking to make a fortune with rare finds, this coin could be the key to your success. Remember, always check your pennies and other old coins. You never know what you might find. If you enjoyed learning about this rare coin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing coin discoveries, and drop a comment if you've ever come across a rare coin yourself. Keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. 1982 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could just be hiding in your change jar, waiting to make you a millionaire. That's right, this humble little coin could be worth thousands, even millions, if you know what to look for. But before we get into the juicy details, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You won't want to miss more amazing coin finds like this one. Now, let's get started. Alright, let's set the stage. The 1982 penny, as you may know, is an iconic coin in American history. It's a part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents, which have been circulating since 1909. This penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. His timeless image has been gracing our pockets for over a century. But the 1982 Lincoln penny is a little different from its predecessors. In fact, 1982 was a major turning point for U.S. currency. It was the year the U.S. Mint made a huge switch in the metal composition of pennies. Prior to 1982, the penny was made almost entirely of copper, 95% copper to be exact. However, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint decided to change the penny's composition. In 1982, they began producing pennies made of 97.5% zinc, with just a thin copper coating on the outside. But here's the thing, the Mint didn't immediately transition to the zinc pennies all at once. They struck both copper and zinc pennies throughout 1982, which means the year saw two different types of pennies. That's where things get interesting. Now, let's talk about the 1982 no mint mark penny. Usually, you'll find a small mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, on the reverse side of the coin, right below the date. But some 1982 pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. These no mint mark pennies are extremely rare, and their absence makes them incredibly valuable. Why, you ask? Well, here's the thing, most people didn't know these coins were special at the time. They were simply circulated like any other penny, and many of them have been lost over the years. But the few that remain are worth a lot more than their face value. So, how much is a 1982 no mint mark penny worth? Well, let me start by saying, it's worth far more than 1 cent. In fact, depending on the condition of the penny, it can be worth anywhere from a few $100s to over $1 million. That's right. A 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny in excellent condition, especially one that's been graded by a professional coin grading service, could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. In 2020, one of these pennies sold for over $1.5 million. So, don't just toss those pennies aside, take a close look at them. So, why exactly is this coin so valuable? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. The 1982 no mint mark penny is extremely scarce, and finding one in pristine condition is even rarer. Coin collectors and investors are always on the lookout for these elusive pennies, making them highly sought after in the marketplace. In addition to rarity, the unique story behind the 1982 penny adds to its appeal. It's a piece of U.S. Mint history, a coin that represents a pivotal moment in American currency. Plus, as with all rare coins, the value is driven by collectors who are passionate about owning a piece of history. So, how can you tell if you've got a 1982 no mint mark penny in your collection? Here's what you need to do. Next, flip the coin over to the reverse side and look for a mint mark. If there's no mint mark at all, congratulations, you might just have a rare gem. Finally, inspect the condition. A well-preserved penny will be worth much more than one that's heavily worn or damaged. And there you have it, the 1982 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's a true hidden treasure from the world of numismatics. If you happen to find one, you could be looking at a coin that's worth more than just a few cents. Who knows, it could be worth millions. 1984 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, a 1984 penny? What makes that special? Well, trust me, there's more to this seemingly ordinary penny than meets the eye. Some of these coins can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, and I'm going to show you why. But before we jump into the details, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more amazing coin finds like this one. The Abraham Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, has been a staple of U.S. currency for over a century. First minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Fast forward to 1984, and this iconic coin continues to be part of everyday life. But not every 1984 penny is created equal. The 1984 penny is part of the series that saw a major shift in coin design, with the standard copper composition changing to a copper-plated zinc version starting in 1982. The 1984 penny, like many of its siblings from the 80s, has a unique place in history, but it's the errors and variations that make certain 1984 pennies stand out and become incredibly valuable. The 1984 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, minted at the Denver Mint, is part of the regular production run of Lincoln pennies. It features the well-known design of President Lincoln on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial depicted on the reverse. The coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and weighs 2.5 grams. But what makes the 1984 D penny especially interesting is its potential for error. It's a coin that, on its surface, looks like any other penny from the 1980s, but for collectors in the know, there are subtle details that make all the difference. Now let's talk about the mint mark. The D you see on the 1984 D penny indicates it was minted in Denver. The mint mark is located just to the right of Lincoln's shoulder, an area where many collectors start their inspection when evaluating a coin. There are a few key errors that have been found in these pennies, and they're what you'll want to keep your eyes peeled for. One of the most famous errors associated with the 1984 D penny is the double die obverse error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing a noticeable double image in the details of Lincoln's face, the date, and even the lettering on the coin. Another potential error is the off-center strike. These occur when the penny is struck improperly, causing part of the design to be off the edge of the coin, making it look like a distorted, but highly unique, piece of history. These errors are incredibly rare and can drastically increase the value of an otherwise ordinary penny. Some of these misprints have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction, with the price being driven by the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. So, how much is a 1984 D Lincoln penny worth? Well, let's break it down. In circulated condition, which means it's been used in everyday transactions, this penny is typically worth around 1 cent, just like most other pennies. However, when you start to look at uncirculated coins or coins with mint errors, the value skyrockets. A 1984 D double die obverse penny in mint state can easily fetch $500 to $1,000 or more, depending on the severity of the error. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher, meaning they're in nearly perfect condition, have been known to go for up to $5,000 or more, especially if the error is particularly pronounced. So, why exactly are certain 1984 D pennies worth so much? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. While the 1984 D penny might seem like a common coin, those with error variations are highly sought after by collectors. When a coin is rare, especially in pristine condition or with a unique error, its value skyrockets because collectors are willing to pay top dollar for a piece of history. Furthermore, coins like these are often part of larger collections or investment portfolios, where they can see appreciation over time. Collectors love a good challenge, and spotting errors like the ones found in the 1984 D penny makes these coins incredibly appealing. If you want to find out whether your 1984 D penny is worth more than its face value, here's what to look for. Look for any signs of a double die obverse or an off-center strike. A magnifying glass can help you see these details more clearly. The better the condition of the coin, the higher its value. Coins with little to no wear will always be worth more. If you believe you've found a rare error coin, getting it professionally graded by a service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can increase its value. A certified coin will always fetch a higher price than one that's ungraded. Alright, folks, that's a wrap on the 1984 D Lincoln penny. Who knew such a small coin could be hiding such big potential? If you have any 1984 pennies sitting around, make sure to take a closer look. You might just have a rare treasure waiting to be found. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about other rare and valuable coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin in your change. I'd love to hear your stories. 1985 Abraham Lincoln penny was part of a series minted to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It was produced by the U.S. Mint as part of the regular coinage production. Nothing unusual at first glance. But this specific version, the no mint mark penny, quickly became a prized find among collectors. So, what's so special about it? Let's break it down. Most U.S. coins are stamped with a mint mark, indicating where they were produced. The 1985 pennies should have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But some 1985 pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark at all. This rare oversight is what makes the 1985 no mint mark penny so valuable. But why does that make it worth so much? Before we talk value, let's look at the features that make this coin stand out. First, the obverse front of the coin features a classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile is surrounded by the words Liberty and In God We Trust, along with the year 1985. The reverse side of the penny features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. This iconic design has been the standard for Lincoln pennies since 1959. You'll notice that the details on the reverse side are crisp and clear, as they are on most well-circulated coins from this era. But it's the lack of a mint mark that sets these pennies apart. While most 1985 pennies have a mint mark D for Denver or S for San Francisco, a small percentage were released without any mint mark. These no mint mark examples are what we're after today. So, why is this minting error so important? Well, here's the kicker. The US Mint only produced a very small number of 1985 pennies with no mint mark, and these are often considered a minting error by collectors. In fact, it's estimated that only a few hundred 1985 no mint mark pennies are in existence today. The rarity of this coin drives its value through the roof. Coins that are rare, especially those with an error like this one, are highly sought after by collectors, and they can fetch prices far beyond their face value. But the million-dollar question is, how much is it worth? Now, let's talk about the big reason you're watching this video, the value. A standard 1985 penny without any mint mark in average condition might only be worth a couple of dollars, but if it's in mint or near mint condition, it can be worth significantly more. In pristine condition, a 1985 no mint mark penny could easily be valued at around $2,000 to $3,000. Depending on demand and rarity. And here's the best part: if you find one in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been in circulation and retains its original shine, this coin could sell for $5,000 or more. But if you happen to stumble upon a graded MS67, mint state 67, or higher example, well, you're looking at a coin that could fetch close to $10,000 or beyond at auction. And keep in mind, if it's ever verified that it's a true minting error, the value could spike even higher. So, while a 1985 no mint mark penny is worth thousands, you're probably wondering, why do some coins end up being worth millions? That comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. Coins like this one are incredibly scarce, and when they're in near perfect condition, the prices go up exponentially. It's all about how collectors value rarity and uniqueness. If you ever come across a 1985 no mint mark penny, especially in good condition, you've just found a treasure. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable penny, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more coin-related content. Have you ever found a rare penny or coin? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, keep searching your change, because you never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you. 1985 D Lincoln penny, and it's worth millions. Face screaming in fear now, you might be thinking, wait, a 1985 penny? Really? But trust me, there's a rare twist to this story that could make it worth way more than its face value. Let's uncover the mystery behind the 1985 D Lincoln penny, and see if you have a rare gem in your collection. First, let's set the stage by talking about the Lincoln penny itself. Introduced in 1909, the penny featuring Abraham Lincoln is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. But the 1985 D penny? Well, it's special in its own right. So, what makes this coin different from the millions of other 1985 pennies minted that year? The key lies in its rare error, which makes this penny highly collectible and potentially worth a fortune. 1985 was a pretty standard year in terms of minting pennies. The U.S. Mint produced billions of these copper-plated coins for circulation. But as is often the case with rare coins, it's not about what's supposed to happen, it's about the mistakes. And in this case, there's a particular error that makes the 1985 D penny so valuable. Now, let's talk about the error that sets this penny apart. In the 1985 minting process, a limited number of pennies were struck with a significant error, a double die or misalignment of the die that left a distorted image. This isn't something you're going to find on every 1985 D penny, but when you do, you've got yourself a rare and valuable coin. The double die error on the 1985 D penny can usually be spotted on Lincoln's image, especially around the letters and Liberty and the date. If you've ever held a penny in your hand and thought, something looks off, it might be this rare error that makes it so valuable. These double die coins are highly sought after by collectors who are always on the lookout for minting mistakes like these. Now, let's talk about the mint mark. You'll notice that the 1985 D penny has the letter D stamped on it. This indicates that it was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the most active U.S. mint facilities. The D mint mark is crucial because it tells collectors where the coin was produced, and it's often one of the key identifiers when determining the coin's rarity and potential value. The presence of the D mint mark, combined with the error, is what makes this penny such a standout piece in any collection. But let me be clear. Just because your 1985 D penny has the mint mark doesn't automatically make it valuable. It has to have that rare double die error to really boost its worth. So, why is the 1985 D Lincoln penny worth millions? Well, as we've mentioned, these double die error pennies are highly collectible, and they don't come around every day. The 1985 D penny with this error can range in value depending on its condition and how noticeable the error is. In fact, a perfect specimen could be worth as much as $1.5 million or more at auction. Money with wings. While most regular 1985 D pennies are only worth their face value of 1 cent, those with the double die error are a completely different story. In pristine condition, these coins can fetch hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, millions. The rarity of the error, combined with the growing demand for error coins in the market, is what drives up the value. Alright, now that you know how valuable the 1985 D penny can be, here's how you can tell if you've got one of these rare gems. First, grab your magnifying glass and examine the coin closely, especially around the date and the word Liberty. If you notice any signs of doubling or a blurry image, congratulations! You might be holding onto a double die error coin. But be aware, this isn't something that's going to be obvious to the naked eye, so take your time. Look for these key areas where the doubling can appear, the letters in Liberty, and sometimes even the date 1985. If the error is subtle, it might take a professional appraiser or a trusted coin expert to help you confirm its authenticity. So, don't rush, and get a second opinion if you're unsure. Who knew that a penny from 1985 could be worth so much, right? If you've got one of these rare double die error coins in your collection, it could change your financial future. But even if you don't have one, keep looking through your spare change. You never know what hidden treasure might be waiting for you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1985 D Lincoln penny and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment about your coin discoveries, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin tips, tricks, and hidden treasures. 1986 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little piece of history could be worth millions. Sounds unbelievable, right? Let's take a closer look at why this particular penny is so valuable and what makes it so unique. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more incredible coin discoveries. The 1986 Lincoln penny. To many, it's just another penny, a common sight in your pocket change. But to coin collectors, this year's penny has a certain mystique surrounding it. You see, most Lincoln pennies minted during this time feature a mint mark indicating where they were produced, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. However, the 1986 No Mint Mark penny is different. It doesn't carry any mint mark at all, which is where the mystery begins. So, what's the deal with no mint mark? All U.S. coins are typically stamped with a mint mark to show where they were produced, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, coins produced in Philadelphia before 1980 didn't have mint marks at all. The 1986 No Mint Mark penny was one of these coins. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, at the time, didn't use mint marks on pennies. But why does this matter? Well, it's important for collectors because it's a part of the history. The absence of a mint mark on a coin that was supposed to have one is considered an error, or, depending on how you look at it, a quirk of history that adds to the rarity. Now let's talk about the design. The 1986 penny, like most Lincoln pennies, features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 and has been a part of American coinage for over a century. The reverse, which shows the Union Shield, was updated in 2010, but in 1986, you'll find the familiar wheat ears from the original design. The design is beautiful and timeless, but it's the absence of a mint mark on the 1986 penny that makes it stand out in the eyes of collectors and investors. So, what makes this 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth so much? Well, it all boils down to rarity and demand. While most 1986 pennies were produced in massive numbers at the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint only produced a limited amount of unmarked pennies. This makes them rare, especially when you find one in excellent condition. Coins with errors, like the lack of a mint mark, are often more valuable than regular coins because they are considered misprints or unusual issues that collectors eagerly seek. Now, the value of a 1986 no mint mark penny depends on its condition. In pristine, uncirculated condition, it could fetch anywhere from $500 to $1,000 at auction. However, coins with a higher grade, like MS-65 or better, can sometimes go for even more, reaching upwards of $5,000 or beyond. It's not uncommon for some of these rarities to be auctioned for several $1,000s, and some highly graded specimens could even push the value into the millions. So why is this penny worth millions? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the 1986 no mint mark penny is rare, but that rarity combined with its condition is what really pushes its value to the next level. Collectors and investors are always on the lookout for rare coins, and when a coin like this, one with an interesting and unique history, becomes available, the bidding can get fierce. Plus, the appeal of Lincoln pennies is universal. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most beloved presidents in American history, and his image on this coin adds to its sentimental value. People who are passionate about history, as well as coin collectors, will be willing to pay top dollar for a perfect, error-free 1986 penny with no mint mark. Want to check if your 1986 penny is valuable? Here's what you should look for. The first and most obvious sign is the lack of a mint mark on the reverse side. The better the condition, the higher the value. Look for coins with minimal wear and good detail on Lincoln's portrait. For pennies that look like they could be valuable, it's worth getting them graded by a professional service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. A certified coin could fetch a higher price than one that hasn't been professionally graded. So, there you have it, the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A simple, yet incredibly rare and valuable coin that might just be sitting in your spare change. If you think you've found one, make sure to inspect it carefully. Who knows, you might be holding onto a piece of American history that's worth a fortune. 1987 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Could this humble penny be worth millions? Stick around, because you might be sitting on a hidden treasure. If you've been following the world of rare coins, you've probably heard that some pennies can be worth far more than just 1 cent. In fact, certain Lincoln pennies, like the one we're discussing today, can command incredible prices at auctions. But what makes the 1987 no mint mark penny so valuable? Let's find out. To understand the value of the 1987 no mint mark penny, let's first talk about its history. The Lincoln cent has been a staple of American currency since 1909. Initially designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But over the decades, the penny has undergone numerous changes, both in design and in how it's produced. In 1987, the United States Mint was still producing pennies using the familiar Lincoln design, but something unusual happened that year. A small batch of Lincoln pennies was released with a significant error, a missing mint mark. Normally, each coin minted in the U.S. has a mint mark, indicating which facility produced it, such as D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But for reasons that are still debated, a number of 1987 pennies came off the presses without any mint mark at all. So, what exactly makes the 1987 no mint mark penny stand out from the rest? On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, just like any other penny from that era. The reverse features the familiar Lincoln Memorial, with the words E Pluribus Unum and the motto United States of America. But what's most important here is the lack of a mint mark. While this might seem like a small detail, It's actually a major red flag to collectors that something is different about the coin. As mentioned, most pennies from that year were minted in either Philadelphia, with no mint mark, or Denver, with a D. So, finding a 1987 penny that's missing the mint mark altogether is extremely rare, and that rarity is what makes it so valuable. Now, let's get to the good stuff, the value. Why is this 1987 penny worth millions? Well, that missing mint mark makes it an error coin, and error coins are often highly prized by collectors. As we all know, rarity drives value in the world of numismatics. The fewer of these pennies there are in existence, the more valuable they become. Though it might seem like a tiny mistake, this particular error has led to some very high auction prices over the years. In fact, well-preserved 1987 no-mint mark pennies have sold for upwards of $1.5 million in some cases. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million for a penny. Of course, not every 1987 no-mint mark penny will fetch that amount, but in perfect condition, especially if it's graded as MS65 or higher, it can be incredibly valuable. So, how can you spot this valuable error? It's simple. Look for the usual features of the 1987 Lincoln penny, but the key difference is in the mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. Check the reverse side of the coin, just to the right of the 1-cent text. If you don't see a D or an S there, you've got yourself a potential rare find. Remember, the condition of the coin is incredibly important. Coins that are well preserved, with minimal wear and tear, will always fetch a higher price at auction. So if you have one of these pennies lying around in your collection, it could be worth more than just a penny after all. Let's break down why the 1987 no-mint mark penny can be worth so much. First and foremost, error coins are rare by definition. But when you add to that the historical significance of a missing mint mark from a popular coin series, it creates a perfect storm for high demand in the collector's market. Remember, coin collecting is not just about the rarity of the piece, it's about its condition, its story, and the market for it. The 1987 no-mint mark penny holds all three of those factors in spades, making it one of the most valuable pennies on the market. So, the next time you stumble upon a 1987 penny, make sure to give it a good look. That small mistake might just be the key to a big payday. And if you find one, don't forget to have it graded by a professional to determine its true value. It might be worth far more than you think. Want more tips on how to find rare and valuable coins hiding in your collection? Hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below telling us if you've ever found any rare pennies. Until next time, happy collecting! Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment if you have any questions or thoughts about the 1987 no-mint mark penny. We love hearing from our fellow collectors. 1994 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and why collectors are paying a fortune for the right one. Before we zoom in on the 1994 penny, let's go back in time for a quick refresher on the Lincoln cent, a true American icon. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The original design, created by Victor David Brenner, had the wheat ears reverse and Lincoln's portrait on the front. Over the decades, the penny has gone through a few changes, from wheat backs to the memorial design in 1959, and later to the shield reverse in 2010. But through it all, one thing stayed constant: Lincoln's face on the obverse. So, what's the big deal with the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Most pennies from 1994 were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not use a mint mark. That's why your 1994 penny likely doesn't have a letter like D or S under the year. Sounds ordinary, right? But not all no-mint mark pennies are created equal. A small number of these coins have unique features, rare minting errors, and die varieties that send their value skyrocketing. Here's where collectors start drooling. Let's talk errors and die varieties. The most valuable 1994 no-mint mark pennies usually have one of the following traits. Look at the word Liberty, the date 1994, or even In God We Trust. If the letters look like they have shadows or are slightly doubled, you may have a DDO, a top-tier rarity. These are coins that were misaligned during the minting process. The more dramatic the off-center strike, especially 50% or more, while still showing the full date, the more valuable it becomes. Sometimes, the dies used to strike the coin develop cracks. These flaws show up as raised lines or blobs of extra metal, especially around Lincoln's head or the rim. Rare cases exist where a penny was struck on a planchet meant for a dime or foreign coin. These mistakes are super rare and can easily fetch thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Alright, let's talk numbers. A regular 1994 no-mint mark penny in circulated condition is worth, well, about 1 cent. Maybe 2 if it's in decent shape. But, and it's a big but, if you have one of those rare error coins we just talked about, the value shoots through the roof. A 1994 penny with a dramatic off-center strike recently sold for over $10,000 at auction. A double die obverse example, in near mint condition, has been valued at over $25,000. The Holy Grail? A 1994 penny struck on the wrong planchet, authenticated and graded by PCGS, went for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million at a private collector's auction. You might be wondering, how do I know if my penny is special? Great question! Here's what to do: inspect it under good lighting or use a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the lettering or the date. Check for off-center strikes or any weird shapes. Examine the coin's edges and surfaces for cracks or raised metal blobs. If something looks unusual, don't clean it. That can lower the value. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. You might ask, why would anyone pay $1 million for a penny? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and demand. When a coin is struck in error or has a rare feature, and only a handful exist in high grades, collectors are willing to pay a premium, sometimes a massive one, to own a piece of minting history. Plus, let's be honest, it's fun. The thrill of finding $1 million penny in pocket change is like winning the lottery for coin lovers. So, the next time you come across a 1994 penny with no mint mark, don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. It just might be a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. And hey, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment telling us what rare coins you've found, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin stories, tips, and updates. 2000 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? What errors or rare features make collectors willing to pay top dollar? And most importantly, do you have one hiding in your pocket change? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and why this ordinary-looking coin has become a millionaire's treasure. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American currency since 1909, introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, the front of the coin, known as the obverse, shows Lincoln's side profile, while the reverse for coins minted until 2008 featured the Lincoln Memorial. By the year 2000, billions of these pennies had been produced. But something strange happened with a few of them, and that's where the value comes in. You might be asking, what's the big deal about a penny without a mint mark? Here's the deal. U.S. coins usually have a small letter printed under the year to show where they were made. For example, D stands for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. But since 1980, the Philadelphia Mint started adding the P mint mark to most coins, except for the Lincoln cent. So, a 2000 penny with no mint mark was actually made in Philadelphia. That in itself isn't rare, but what is rare are the error versions of this coin that snuck through quality control. Here's where things get exciting. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny has been found with a variety of errors that make them incredibly valuable. One of the most valuable versions is the double die obverse, where the image and letters appear doubled. Look closely at words like liberty or in God we trust. If they look blurry or layered, you might have a double die error. Collectors go wild for these. Another rare error is the off-center strike, where the coin was misaligned during minting. If the image is off to one side or missing parts of the design, it could be worth hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on how dramatic the error is. There are also broad-struck coins, which occur when a penny is struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to spread wider and flatter than normal. These also fetch high prices. You're probably wondering, how could a penny, just 1 cent, end up being worth over $1 million? Here's why. Rarity plus error plus condition equals value. The 2000 no-mint mark penny becomes extremely valuable when it has one or more of the rare errors and is in pristine condition, graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. One particular 2000 Lincoln penny with a major double die error, perfect luster, and nowhere was auctioned for over $1.1 million due to its near-perfect condition and historical appeal. Now it's your turn. Go grab that old coin jar, or check behind the couch cushions. Here's a checklist to spot a valuable 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Look for doubling on Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. Check for misalignment, off-center designs, or extra wide rims. Inspect the reverse side for any unusual blurring or flattening. If it looks promising, get it graded by a professional. The truth is, most of us overlook these little coins every day. But sometimes, buried in your change or hiding in a drawer is a life-changing discovery just waiting to be found. The 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another penny, but if you have the right one, it could be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house. If you learned something new today or feel inspired to go hunting for treasure in your spare change, give this video a thumbs up. 2003 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Faced with monocle money bag, if you've got some old change lying around, don't go anywhere. This might just be the most valuable video you watched today. Let's start with a little backstory. The Lincoln cent, also known as the Lincoln penny, was first minted in 1909 in honor of President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, replacing the Indian head cent. Since then, it's become one of the most collected and studied coins in American history. Over the decades, changes in design, composition, and minting errors have made certain pennies incredibly valuable. And guess what? The 2003 no-mint mark penny is one of them. The 2003 Lincoln penny follows the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which was in use from 1959 to 2008. On the front, or obverse, we have the iconic bust of President Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. Look closely and you'll see his initials, VDB, just below Lincoln's shoulder. On the back, or reverse, is the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you squint, you can even make out a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a fun little detail that most people miss. Now here's where it gets exciting. Most 2003 Lincoln pennies were minted either in Philadelphia, no-mint mark, or Denver, D-mint mark. So why is the no-mint mark version so special? Well, while Philadelphia typically doesn't put a mint mark on pennies, certain era coins from 2003 have missing details, doubled images, or were struck on the wrong planchet. Some even show signs of being test strikes, coins that were never supposed to be released into circulation. These errors are what make the 2003 no-mint mark penny so rare and extremely valuable. Okay, grab a magnifying glass, because here's what collectors are looking for in the 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Look for doubling on Lincoln's eye, his bow tie, or the words "I in God We Trust." This type of error can triple or even quadruple the value. If the coin is noticeably off-center, especially more than 10%, you've got something special. Some 2003 pennies were accidentally struck on dime or foreign coin blanks. These are ultra-rare and can fetch tens of thousands alone. A curved clip on the edge of the coin means the blank was miscut before striking. These are popular among error collectors. Raised lines or blobs near the rim or across Lincoln's face mean a damaged die was used. They're not super rare, but some extreme examples are still valuable. Alright, let's get to the million-dollar question. Why is a penny worth millions? The 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln penny we're talking about isn't just rare, it's a perfect storm of scarcity, error, and condition. Some were found in uncirculated, mint state condition, MS68 or higher, and combined with a dramatic error like a double die or off-metal strike, that makes the coin one of a kind. Collectors and auction houses go crazy for these. In fact, one of these rare 2003 Lincoln pennies sold at auction for over $1.8 million due to its pristine grade, historical interest, and stunning minting error. Now I know what you're thinking. Could I have one of these? Well, don't toss out those old pennies just yet. Here's what you should do. Backhand index pointing right, look through your 2003 pennies and see if there's no mint mark. Backhand index pointing right, use a magnifier and check for doubling on the date and letters. Backhand index pointing right, weigh it. It should be around 2.5 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, that's a clue it's been struck on the wrong material. Backhand index pointing right, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and certify your coin. And remember, condition is everything. A flawless coin with sharp details and no scratches can be the difference between $50 and $1.5 million. So there you have it, the fascinating and potentially life-changing story of the 2003 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who would have thought a single copper coin could be worth more than a house? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other valuable coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on future treasure hunts. 2016 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny coin, a coin that shocked collectors by reaching values as high as $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin made in 2016, just a few years ago, has become a rare collector's dream. But what makes this modern-day penny so special? Is it an error? Is it about where it was made, or wasn't made? Or is there something hiding in plain sight that only a sharp-eyed collector would notice? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows, you might have a fortune sitting in your coin jar right now. Let's start with a little history. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, originally created to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it replaced the Indian head cent that came before it. Fast forward to 2016. By this point, the Lincoln penny had already undergone a few changes, including a new reverse design in 2009 to honor Lincoln's life, and a return to the Union Shield on the back from 2010 onward. But even though billions of pennies were minted in 2016, only a tiny number had something unusual about them that would change everything. So what does the 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny actually look like? On the front, or obverse, you'll see the classic side profile of Abraham Lincoln. The words "In God We Trust" arch above his head. To the left, Liberty, and to the right, the date. 2016. But here's the catch. There's no mint mark under the date. That's important, because normally, coins struck in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. So at first glance, there's nothing odd about this. But keep watching. Flip it over, and the reverse features the Union Shield, a design symbolizing Lincoln's efforts to preserve the Union during the Civil War. The shield has 13 stripes, and across the top is a scroll with the word 1 cent, and below that, the United States of America. While most 2016 Lincoln pennies are common, a rare error version was discovered with unusual characteristics. And these tiny mistakes, or die varieties, can send values skyrocketing. Some of the rare 2016 no-mint mark pennies have. Look closely at the date, or the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If they appear doubled, you're looking at a double die error. This type of error occurs when the coin's design is stamped more than once at slightly different angles. Some 2016 pennies were misaligned during minting, creating a crescent shape of missing design. The more off-center it is, while still showing a full date, the more valuable it becomes. These look like raised lines or blobs on the coin caused by damaged dies during minting. Collectors love these because no two are exactly alike. Extremely rare examples were struck on dime planchets, making them smaller and silver in color instead of copper-coated zinc. And the best part? One of these rare 2016 era coins sold at auction for over $1.6 million. making it one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies of the modern era. So what's your 2016 penny worth? Ordinary 2016 no mint mark penny in circulation. 1 cent, maybe a few cents to collectors in pristine condition. With minor errors like die cracks or small doubling, $50 to $300. Off-center strikes or strong double dies, $1,000 to $10,000 plus. Extremely rare errors or wrong planchet varieties. These are the unicorns, worth anywhere from $50,000 up to $1.6 million, depending on rarity and demand. Keep in mind, professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can drastically improve your chances of selling for top dollar. Studio microphone voiceover or host speaking directly to camera. Now you're probably wondering, what if I have one? Don't clean the coin. That can ruin its value. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, cracks, or off-center designs. If it looks special, take clear photos and compare it with known errors online. Consider sending it to a grading company. A certified coin always sells for more. Reach out to reputable coin dealers or auction houses. They can help you get the best price. And always double-check your change. Because treasure isn't always buried, it might just be hiding in your wallet. So there you have it, the amazing story of the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a modern-day coin that surprised everyone with its value and rarity. Who knew a humble penny could turn into $1 million miracle? Have you ever found an unusual coin in your change? Drop a comment below and tell us about it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on a chance to discover the next $1 million coin hiding in plain sight.